Hey friends, it's seed starting day. Super excited to show you some of the cool things we're going to be starting and growing aeroponically. I'll be starting some things for the yard soon and showing you guys some really cool things that I'm doing to set up some trellising for the towers. And it's reproducible. I chose something that you guys can mimic and do yourself as well without having to build anything. And then I have some really cool things that I ordered that are coming for the garden and the soil gardens that can be grown in a small space as well. So if you don't have a lot of acreage, you can do the same thing. But we're gonna go on a walk first because I'm expecting some mail and I want to see if there's any wild food we can forage before we get started with our seeds. The gardens are incredible right now. This is the permaculture landscape and the towers. Incredible. First squash, zucchini. The first zucchini is maturing. Looks like we got good pollination. I hand pollinated this one. This right here is a male flower because it has a stem. And this one is a female because it has the fruit. So as soon as this opens, I'm going to hand pollinate because right now there aren't a lot of pollinators out. So just to be sure, here's another one. Woo, we're gonna have a good harvest. The green beans, doing incredible. And we have some strawberries maturing. Now, these are still in the recovery phase. I'm gonna go cut all these bad leaves off today. If you watch my previous strawberry video, I pulled these out of the yard. This one doesn't look like it made it. But overall, they're doing great. I'm not gonna get incredible berries this first run, but they are producing. I mean, they love hydroponics. And in about 3 weeks, these should be filling out and doing incredible. We have tomatoes in April, which is unheard of. I'll put the name of this one right here. Really enjoy these. These are like an Italian salad tomato. I've been loving those in my salads. And then these little clusters are the heartbreakers. All right, and let's walk. The boys are in the forest collecting our trash cans. We have a little bear situation. And they have to get all the trash cans out of the forest. And then this wall here, it was cut in, obviously. And I've decided, now that our camper's not here, I'm gonna line this area. I'm gonna weed whack everything that's here. And I'm gonna line this whole wall with fruit trees. There's some space for some fruit trees through here too. That's the key to growing food in a small space. Get creative with it. Oh, look at these. So I don't know what these are. I did not plant these. There's something ate it, which tells me it's probably not poisonous, but I'm gonna look it up. This is just an old, huge tree that was left here. And I just think mushrooms are so cool. These right here are my mushroom logs though, and I wanna see. Oh, look at that. Oh, what a beauty. Okay. A gorgeous shiitake. So incredible. This is a new log that's forming too. Oh no, I've harvested off of this. We need to do some new logs. Some of these are just really beat up. This is an oyster one that my daughter recently made. And I'm gonna go check the other spot. But we have one shiitake for dinner. Okay, we have 2 shiitake. This one got eaten by something. Something's nibbled on it. But that's okay. I'm not gonna eat that one, but it's nice to know that they're blooming. So that's exciting. The dog's eating cleavers. This is how you know they're cleavers. They cleave to you. All right, let's walk. All right, so far I'm just seeing wild roses blooming. I'm trying to see if my fiddleheads are up. And I will be collecting those for tea. I'm just not going to do it today because other things to do, and they're just opening. And I don't like to take, I'm just now seeing it open all over. I don't like to take the first flowers because the pollinators need those. So once we get a sunny day, the rest of them, here, look at this. Can you see all that back there? That's all rose, and those are just the beginnings. There are so many more that'll open up. We'll let the pollinators have the first set, and as soon as it warms up, the rest of those are gonna pop, and I'll come and collect. You only get one shot because they only bloom once a year to get your rose for the year. All right, this is the area where I put in fiddlehead ferns. I think I'm gonna order some more seeds. Just not seeing the abundance that I was hoping to at this point. All right, no fiddleheads for us today. Let's carry on. See, here's what I'm talking about. This area gets more sun. Look at these. They're all about to pop. So tomorrow, I'll just make sure top priority is to come harvest an abundance of those. This plant right here is Chanel. It makes amazing medicine once it blooms. That is the mulberry tree. Just getting leaves. All right, this plant I'm really excited about. It grows wild all over this area, but we don't have any on our property. This is mullein. It's amazing for medicinal purposes. Tea, when you have a cough that won't dry up or go away. And I don't know why, it has not established itself on the property here. So my goal this year was to get it established. I'm gonna dig some up from other areas. But now we have this one. And so when it flowers, we use the flowers to make an ear tincture for swimmer's ear. And then I will spread some of the flowers. And I'm also going to be digging some of these up other places and transplanting them along the driveway. But I have some leaves for tea. And this is why I'm here. Man, that's disappointing. I'm waiting on a really important package. The package is something I'm going to share with you guys on just another way to grow food in a small space without having a homestead. I heard from a YouTuber, Roots in Refuge, was saying like a lot of people are walking away from their YouTube channels, their homesteading YouTube channels. I had my mullein covering the microphone. Hopefully that didn't mess up the sound. What I was saying was Roots in Refuge made a video recently, and she was sharing how a lot of people are walking away from the homesteading YouTube section because it just there weren't enough people interested in homesteading anymore. But it actually wasn't that they aren't interested in homesteading. It's just that so many people who want to grow their own food have been priced out of owning a homestead. And homesteading is very heavily focused on regenerative farming, typically, where you're raising a lot of animals. And hopefully my messaging here is for those of you who may not have the homestead. We have a lot of property. We're blessed with that. But you can see, you're not growing food on this property. It's rainforest. And I like it rainforest. I don't want to live on open fields with animals. It's not my thing. But I do want to grow the majority of my own food. So how do we do that as plant-based homesteaders? So I've got a lot of things I'm going to be sharing with you guys over the next few weeks and months on how to grow a ton of food in very small spaces. And if mullein doesn't grow wild in your area, or if it grows like on the side of the roads where it's contaminated, just order some mullein seeds or dig one up from the road, move it to your property, wait for it to produce seeds and spread, and you can landscape in. These are gorgeous to me. Wild foods and herbs that are medicine. Nobody even knows that's what they are. All right, here's my elderberry tree. And we're gonna do something right now to get more elderberries. This is it right here. I call it a tree because it's pretty tall, but it's just a bush. All right, so what I'm gonna do, and really you wanna wait until after it blooms to do this so you don't waste any food, but we've got elderberries many places. So I'm gonna take this, break it off. Do that with a couple of them. One reason too, this one's so tall. So there's the berries right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's so tall that I can't easily reach those. All right, and then what we're gonna do is, we know it likes it here, so we're gonna peel the stem, stick it right into the ground. I'm gonna stick it in maybe 6 inches, as far as I can. Okay, I kept a couple little small ones. We're gonna walk up here and put them closer to the house, because the closer things are, you know, to your site, the better the chances you're going to harvest them at the peak when they have berries before the birds get them. All right, we're back to the mushroom logs, the house. So eventually this year you're gonna see towers on this side with the trellis system. And eventually I want more over here. And right now we're just going to come to this wet area right before this big log and do the same thing we just did. Pull off these bottom parts. And if these are really happy, oh, there's berries. Oops, we'll take those off because we don't want the energy going there. But if we can make these really happy, the leaves won't even die. All right, there's that. I'll do that again after they're done blooming, and we'll just keep spreading them. I think I'll put some in between where I sit here in this rock wall. It's a great place to do fruit tree in between those elderberry, and then as an understory do blueberries. I think I'm just gonna max. It's gonna, you won't even be able to tell. It's not gonna be like landscaped. It's going to be like a wild fruit wall. I can't wait. All right, we're back to the towers. So right here, this is lamb's ear, which is kind of medicinal, but not really. Why not replace lamb's ear with mullein, which is just as pretty, almost identical. I think mullein's actually prettier. And this is medicine. Go on. I really just run a door service for cats and dogs. I can't tell if there's a person in there. Is there a person in there? Let's go start these seeds. But first, look at this elegant. Insane. Fennel. That's all, this all comes back on its own. Elderberry, this is not elderberry, this is mulberry. And it looks like we're gonna have a good year. We haven't had a good year with mulberries. I have 5 of these trees. These are a dwarf. So my tree, the tree we have on the property is huge, but it's huge. So to get the mulberries, it's very difficult. So I planted these dwarf trees, and I put this one here and I keep it short. And then also along this wall here. This is a retention wall and it goes down to our basement. And I put, those are all mulberry trees right there, and those are the tops of the trees. So we can harvest from down below and the top of the tree because it's up high. Hopefully that makes sense. This is aronia berry. This is a kale that's gone to flower. So people ask me if you can let things go to flower on the towers. And the answer is yes. But do you see how many of these sticks these put off? So they're really, really big. And each one of these pods will turn into like a pea pod full of seeds. So if you want to do it on a tower, you just cut all the extra ones off and just let like one produce. Just one of these is all you need. The rest you can cut off on the tower. And this will still give you hundreds of seeds. But that's why you want to do that, because it's hard to tell space, but that's massive. Ooh, these are radish. Okay guys, we're back inside. Let's start some, or in the garage. Let's start some seeds. So I have some things to think through here. And I don't know, I feel like I need one more tower. But I know what I'm gonna do is start the things I absolutely know I need to start, which is a couple of eggplant, because I only have 4 eggplant plants. And I'm always starting the greens, those don't count. I need to start all of the vining plants, so the spaghetti squash, watermelons, melons, all of those. And the way I'm gonna be setting up the towers with the trellis and things, you're gonna have a side for the vining things. So it's gonna be a tower, a trellis, a tower, a trellis, a tower. So the points that are facing are next to the trellis. That side is going to be where I'm growing the vining things. Then on the front and other sides, on the ends, it'll give me 3 sides where I can kind of mix things up. You can vine off of the front because it'll be able to reach the way I'm doing it. And then the one in the middle, it'll be the front and the back that are not vining things. So we need to sort of do the math on that. And that's where I'm gonna keep like peppers and maybe some, I don't know, whatevers are gonna grow on those sides that aren't vining, and then the vines will be on the other side. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And so the way it works, if these are our grow ports, the vining side, we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be facing the trellis wall. So I need to do that math real quick. But a minimum of 10 on the ends are gonna have 10 and 10, and then the one in the middle will have 10 on both sides. So that's 10, 20, 30, that's 40 vining plants. I'm gonna start with that. I'm not going to do heavy feeders like tomatoes on these towers because vines are gonna be heavy feeders. So maybe something, like I can probably get away with eggplant because they're not super heavy feeders of water, even though they grow big food. They don't use a lot of water like a cucumber or like a tomato will. So I'm just gonna be thinking of that too. Like what doesn't use a ton of water, because we wanna make sure we're only having to fill these tanks when they're at their peak, like every 5 days at the most. You don't wanna go any lower than that. And with things like watermelon and melons and cucumbers, all these really water dense foods, it can run a tank dry pretty quickly. Now we still use 90% less water than if we were growing in the soil gardens, but still. So one things I know, I'm gonna just start with what I know I absolutely have to plant. And then 40 vining plants, that's a lot. 40 vining plants is a lot, especially because we have such high efficiency on these. So this is a Patio Pride. This is a pea plant, and I'm gonna do 2 seeds per rock wool, and I'm gonna do 12 of these. I may actually even do more than that. I want a good harvest of peas. Now, peas is these are gonna be a shorter crop. These will be harvested off of a tower long before I start to get watermelon. So I don't have to worry about where these go as much. And I don't know if I'm gonna do fast turnaround things on those towers that are growing vines, or if I'm gonna do some slower things so I'm just not having to mess with those towers. I don't know, we'll see. For now, we're gonna start 12 We're gonna start 16. I love peas. Do we want to start 20? This is why I need more towers. I really want to just start a whole tower of peas. I need some farm towers. Maybe that's what we need to do next. Get some of the tall ones. Put them on a watering system. All right, we're going to stop at 16. I'm going to control myself. I just loved the food so much. I love not relying on the grocery store. It's hard to like back down. To pair with peas, I'm gonna do green beans because they'll sprout at about the same time. They'll germinate at about the same time. So we have all of our handy dandy seed organizers here. And what I'm always doing on these days is I'm going to the gym in a little bit. I'm actually gonna ride my Peloton bike first. So we have our priorities. I had to work this morning, and I'm doing the chores that have to be done that are the most dire. So you can see there's some towers that are not broken down. There's some mess on the floor. There's some things in the gardens. And I just do the next thing. So starting seeds is the first, and then getting 2 of these towers clean and outside and loaded is next priority. I have some seeds from a tower garden course that I'm running that need to go into the tower. There's seeds from Tower Garden when you buy your tower. I'm doing a whole course for that. It's free. I'll post it in the link below as soon as it's available. We're just walking through like how to get 100% germination on those and when to put them in the tower, all the things. And then my tomatoes really, really, really need to go into a tower. So first seeds, then getting these clean, then the gym. All right, we need eggplant. Collards. Green beans. Cucumbers and sweet melons. Winter squash. We definitely need some yellow squash. I'm gonna start some more zucchini. I'm not gonna do a lot of unique greens or bok choys or anything right now. I've got a lot of greens. All right, I don't even have enough rock wool set up for what I need. If we're doing 40. All right, so that'll keep me in check for today so that we have time to go work on those towers. All right, green beans are gonna go with the peas. I definitely want some green beans. Jade, I'm gonna do the Kalima. I'm always a big fan of the Kalima. They're a larger bean. We'll do a couple of jade too. I like to do 2 seeds per rock wool. 1, 2. Let's try 3 of these jade. Let's do 3 in one of them, 2 in the other 2. That'll use up all those seeds. I love empty seed packages. That means we have grown food and eaten food. All right, Kalima. The Kalima bean looks different than the jade. I'm doing 3 seeds per rock wool. I'm gonna do 2 seeds per rock wool on one, 2 of them, and 3 on the other 3. Just to see. I like running experiments. All right, we've got those green beans. I want more green beans, but I have some plants already, and the peas are seasonal. Green beans are gonna go longer in the season. So we really want to get the peas in while we can, and then I'll do a lot more green beans after the peas burn out. All right. Cauliflower, I already have started. I was just curious if I had any of those baby cauliflower, and I don't. I just ordered the seeds. Zucchini. Okay, so let's do our squash. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40. These seeds got wet. These are Kalima green beans. I'm going to put them in with the zucchini and squash because they'll pop up at about the same time. a caserta. I have these growing and they're doing really well. So let's do one of those because I actually have like 4 already. The Romanesca zucchini. Do I have any seeds? One of my absolute favorite. So beautiful. So let's do 3 of those. When you plant your seeds, we want to plant this tip up because that is where the leaf is going to come out. So do the pointy side down and that little like end tip up. Let's do a Palermo. I could live off squash. So if this seems like a lot of squash, it is. Yellow squash. To finish off this tray, I'm going to do the Odessa, soft and gentle, and I'm going to do one other variety. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have 5 spots. 1, 2, 3. Actually, we're going to do 2 yellow over here too. And then we're going to do the golden. And we will do 1, 2, 3. Okay, that is not the last of the squash. What I do is kind of cycle them. Last year, I didn't have to keep starting seeds. When I grow these in the ground every couple of weeks, I would start seeds because pests and things, they just die. Last year, I didn't have that problem. I was able to just trim them and maintain them all summer, and so they were long. I had these long vertical squash that just kept putting off food all summer. So these might be the only ones I have to start. We'll see. Okay, now for the fun stuff. All right, 10, and I want one of these. Just one. Beautiful thing with this kind of gardening, usually, let's do 2. You only need 1. Usually you only need 1 because they produce. Cocazelle. Oh, I love the Cocazelle. Winter squash. Spineless perfection. The pink banana jumbo. Australian butter squash. We definitely want one of those. Oh, I need to look at what some of these look like. Yeah, it's a pumpkin. It's, I'm going to hold off on that one maybe because we just did those other 2 pumpkins. We're going to do this melon for sure. This is a rich sweetness melon. Melons are more sensitive than pumpkin. Pumpkins can take a lot of abuse. Melons, not so much. So I'm going to do 2 seeds per rockwool because they're so tiny. They're like a cucumber seed. And we're going to do 3 of those. We're going to do 4 of those. I really want a lot of fruit this year. And the fruit's going to have to come in the form of melons. All right, that leaves me 2 seeds just in case. A cicadas, sweet. Maybe I planted too many melons because there's going to be more. Let me pull out everything. A green striped. I'm not going to plant this. I'm going to plant wild in the yard. Chrysanthemum. We want those. That's a sweet melon. We want this classic orange melon. We don't want gourds. Gourds can go in the permaculture landscaping. Let's look up what that is. These are patty pans. I don't love patty pans. I do love spaghetti squash. And those store all winter. Oh, delicata. Okay. Okay, the butter baby is a small butternut squash. It is so delicious. We are gonna, and they're smaller so you can go through them without waste. I'm gonna do 1 seed per rockwool. I'm gonna do 6 of those. I'm gonna look up what some of these other ones are. I'm not seeing my watermelon. Oh, sweet melons, here we go. Okay, this is an Armenian cucumber. We'll do that in a minute. Charleston Gray. This is frost sensitive, 85 to 100 days. This will work. We're gonna do this Art Comb Ancient. I don't know if this is gonna have time to get ready. We'll see. Sugar Baby, those are the small ones. And then let's do this just classic orange melon too. Okay. So we've got our melons, we've got our small butternut squash, we've got spaghetti squash, we've got pumpkins, we're gonna do some cucumbers. One problem I have is I keep seeing all these things I want to start, but things like lettuces and slower things, I can start those later. I need to get these going. Do the next thing that needs to be done. Jelly melon, really, really want this. So let's do that. I really want the Indian cucumber, the Indian snake cucumber. All right, so I'm not seeing butternut, but a butternut is not as viney. So a butternut could go, I said those 10 are gonna be butted up against the trellis. The butternut could go on the other side actually, and it's just not as viney. Or it could go like on the other, it could go, I'll show you once I plan it out. It can go kind of like on the front, and then if I need to trellis it some, the way I'm gonna set these up, I'm gonna make a detailed video, and I wanted it to be something that you guys could easily like buy the same thing on Amazon and rig it up the same way I am very easily. So as soon as that comes, I'll show you. All right, we've got one spot here. Let's start with our snake cucumber. This is something that I don't really know how it's gonna do. We're gonna do 1 seed per rock wool, and we'll start 2 of those. 3, do we wanna start 3? Let's start 3 of those. Okay, jelly melon. Now here's a problem. I need to label these. I totally screwed up. I have to know which ones are the binding ones because of where I'm gonna place them. So I'm gonna go back and watch this video really quick because I don't remember what I did, like literally 5 seconds ago. I know these are the squash and zucchini, and I know I put squash in one of these, and I know these are cucumbers, but hold on, let me rewatch you guys. Okay, took me a minute to figure that out. I got them all labeled. The last one I need to label is the Butter Baby. Which I feel like I did too many of those. 1, 2, 3, 6 is a lot. All right, we'll see. We have space. All right, now 3 of those. Snake cucumber. Okay, so let's go to our melons and then our watermelons and our cucumbers. 10, 24. I think we're gonna do 2 of those. Should we do 3? 1. We did 3. Cicada sweet melon. Chrysanthem. The Petite Gris de Rennes, whatever. This is something the kids will like. They'll like all of them if I cut them up, but you know, sometimes when they look unique, just on their own, like a jelly melon, it's not as enticing to children. Sometimes it is, depends on the child. I'm gonna do 5 of these. I'm gonna do 6 of those. I don't know. I'm gonna do 2 of these. I have reservations on this variety because it's like a big box store one. And it's a big melon. I don't know. We're gonna do 2. All right, this is where we need to do our watermelon. Oh, we didn't do spaghetti squash either. Okay, spaghetti squash will trail pretty good. So I'm gonna do 4 of those. We're just gonna do more than 10. I'm not gonna do delicata. I am going to do 6 of the butter sugar baby bush. Oh, is it a bush? We need to look this up. I didn't buy watermelon seeds because it just wasn't in my radar and I figured I had some. Okay. 80 days to maturity. 12-pound fruits. I was trying to see how big the plant is. Limited space. The vines only reach 3 feet in length. We don't even need to put these on our trellis. I mean, we do, but 3 feet in length. What? If they only reach 3 feet, we don't even need to put them on a trellis. I think we may set up a whole tray. We're gonna do that. Okay, so this is the sugar baby bush. And I'm going to do an entire tray of 12 and kind of think through their own trellis. So I don't think I'm going to do, we'll do one of these. We'll do 2 of these Art Comb Ancient. Why not? This is the year we're trying vines. So might as well. I think these are too big for our area. Like, I don't know if we'll have enough hot weather for something this big of a fruit to mature, but I could be wrong. We are getting started early. I dropped the seed. Okay, so let's do Art Watermelon. There. And then we're gonna do the Charleston Gray. I'm gonna do 5 of those. Those vines, I'm gonna do 3 of those. Watermelon vines are intense. So are pumpkin vines. I'm gonna do 4. And I've never grown on a trellis on a tower at this magnitude. So welcome to my experiment. I'm gonna do 1 pink jumbo banana. I can't control myself. Okay. Did I do the cucumbers? I need to do cucumbers. This is stressing me out, friends. I don't know why it's stressing me out. It just is. Let's see. What did we just start? The pink jumbo banana. I did the snake cucumber. All right, we're gonna do the Armenian. I know I love those. They actually fruit really, really well. Let's do an entire tray of these watermelon. And my thoughts are, so watermelon, I was reading up on them, there's over 6 chemicals being used in watermelon. I posted on my Instagram. And they're not just putting it on the outside, they're actually injecting the watermelon with these things. So watermelon's a no-no at the store for me. So I'm trying to only buy local and buy seeded, which isn't a big growing, you know, we just can't get a lot of those here. So I'm gonna do an entire tray of these. And if we do 12, you have 28 grow spots. I'm thinking if I alternate them on each side, then in between them, I can grow some greens, winter cabbages, something that grows fast, that turns over, and then the rest of the tower is just gonna be these 12 watermelon, which sounds so fun. So let's do that. Do I want more than 12? I don't know, could it handle more than 12? All right, if they present the way I think they're going to, meaning like what they look like, full grown, I have room for 18 on a tower. That gives me 10 spots to allow a little breathing space. We will put a cage on this, and we're just gonna have a watermelon tower. How incredible is that gonna be? And I'm probably gonna have to buy a tower. Sorry, watermelon. Chemical-free watermelon. It's worth buying a tower for. All right, we've got those, and I'm just gonna change the name. Let me. These. I'm actually gonna seed these, a couple of them with 2, and I'll thin them because these seeds are older. These are over 2 years. I don't even remember when I bought these seeds. I actually didn't even know. Where'd they go? I don't even remember researching a bush variety of a watermelon. That tells you how old they are. I had a brilliant thought once upon a time because this is brilliant, but I don't remember when. So we're just gonna seed these and then I'll break them apart. So if one doesn't germinate, I'll just separate. I'm gonna thin them anyway, but I will break them apart and give them their own rock wool if for some reason one doesn't start and 2 start in another one. We just don't want to gamble with these since they are older and we want these. Okay. All right, that's it. I'm going to cover these with vermiculite. You guys know the drill. They go on the grow station, under the lights, on the heat mat. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe because we're going to watch this incredible abundance. And it's just going to be mind-blowing. So let's grow some better than organic, chemical-free food right in our driveways. I'm literally growing these on my driveway. You don't even need a homestead.